Thank you, man. What? It feels nice under here today.
It does feel good today. It's early though. It's going to be hot, and that's what it's supposed to be here. It's always hot here, and it's track gets slick, and today's going to be no exception.
Starting 13th. How's the car feel? Are you happy with 13th?
Well, we're reasonably happy with it. I mean, obviously, you always want to be better than you were unless you were first. But 13th gives us a good starting spot for what we need to do today. We certainly, we didn't dig ourselves a hole that we have to dig out of today, and that's always good. So, yeah, it was okay. We were 10th fastest in practice and qualifying trim, but we didn't work on qualifying yesterday, and pretty much everybody else did. So we gave up a little bit of time working on qualifying, trying to make sure we're good for the race. So I was pretty happy with 13th. Now what do you want to ask?
You got one of the coolest sponsors. Do you actually get to go and I can't say test drive because some of those big monsters.
No, we do. They turned me loose on big equipment. Matter of fact, there was you have to excuse me, I don't even remember the numbers of it, but there was a dump truck, well, I call it a dump truck, that was, literally you had to climb a ladder to get up in it. It's, when you get up in this thing, I'm telling you, you're 40 feet in the air, and it'll hold, it's unbelievable what it'll hold. I've been able to drive that. I've been able to drive really big loaders. They have a D9, I don't know if you guys know what a D9 is, but it's a big piece of equipment. They actually have those where you can operate them remotely. So like for people working in dangerous positions, military, stuff like that, you can operate them remotely. I've been able to do that. I actually knocked those suites, those infield suites at Michigan. I was lucky enough to go knock those down when they rebuilt them, and so yeah, I've gotten to do a lot of cool stuff. And we've been involved in a Duke Children's Hospital back in North Carolina for a long time. They've obviously it's a regional hospital, but it's hooked, it's part of Duke University, so there's a tremendous amount of research that goes on there that benefits children all around the world. So we've been real honored to do that. And then the last 2 years I've been involved with the Armed Forces Foundation. There's a lot of people coming home from active service that really their families have sacrificed a great deal. They've sacrificed a great deal, and there's just not enough support for them when they come home. So,
ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Jeff. What you guys do is amazing.
Well, they do all the work, and I've been lucky enough to the Armed Forces Foundation, and then a lot of foundations around Armed Forces do a really nice job, and several of them do really good. The Armed Forces Foundation has a presence at the racetrack, not every week, but a lot of weeks, and it's a lot of fun to see those guys, but anyway, the families are. When you think about it, kids are not doing what their mothers are not doing with their fathers. We have children in schools that bases have been relocated. We've shut bases down, and the military is really big right now. So we have a lot of kids going to schools that are overpopulated, and those schools have not been able to add psychological help for the children whose parents are putting their life in jeopardy every day. That's a stressful, very, very stressful situation for a child, and their schools haven't been able to allow because of money, haven't been able to allow the expansion of that, and I think that's an atrocity. We got to do better than that, and so the Armed Forces Foundation is working really hard on trying to find a way to help them. This race today, it's about dedication, it's about desire, and it's about a group of people working together. All that's the same. How we get there is different today. We have a lot more engineers. When we started the '99 team, when Buddy Parrott and I started working for Jack Roush, we started the '99 team. I think we had 12 people in that shop. Now, we didn't build our engines and we didn't build our rear end gears, but we did everything else. We had 12 people, and then we grew to 16. We have 450 employees at Richard Childress Racing. That's you used to know everybody, you used to know their kids, you used to know what was going on in their life. You walk in now and you're like, I don't know who these people are, and and they don't know you either. So it's very different in that. It's some of the personal relationships have gotten harder because of so many people, but really at the end of the day, we get there the same way, a different way, but it's still the same. You got to have a group of people willing willing to work together to try to accomplish. And I was kind of turning my back on those goals, and so that was a little disappointed about that. But at the same time, I needed a job. I was just like everybody else. How am I going to afford to live? You know what I mean? So it was relief. It was a great opportunity, but it wasn't really at the time I wanted it to be. I wanted to stay in Nationwide and accomplish those goals first. But the time ended up being that you had to do it then, or you might not ever do it. So I was excited, but I was a little nervous, and I was a little bit disappointed all at the same time.
On a daily, but besides work, I mean, I know we could use that and say it's, but how do you mentally keep yourself going?
Well, first of all, it's I'm not here because I don't want to be here. I know that once you start getting paid for something, people think that you're doing it because you're getting paid. But the reality of it is, and don't get me wrong, I love to get paid. But the reality of it is, I never started racing to get a check. I started racing because I wanted to do it. I started racing because this is who I am. It's what I do, and so it's pretty easy to be motivated. The question is, what gets difficult is the older your kids get and the more you got going on in your life, what are you willing to give up to do this? And to do this at the level that you need to be able to do it at, you have to be willing to give up a lot. And so you have to, which is why I don't have a lot of things going on in my life other than just around my family. I don't have time I can do it. I mean, I could play golf every day, honestly, if I wanted to. But that's 4 hours, or the way I play, that's 3 hours that I wouldn't be dedicating to this. I wouldn't be in the gym. I wouldn't be watching video. There's something I wouldn't be doing that makes me so I can be successful here. So you have to limit the things that you do. And the question is, what are you willing to give up? And right now, I'm still willing to give up things because I want to be successful at this. But that's what happens when you start to see drivers retire. It's not that they don't want to race anymore. Mostly, some of them don't. But it's that there's other things they want to do too, and they know they can't do those things and do this and be successful at this. Right now, I haven't come close to reaching that point. When I reach that point, there's going to be time for me to go do something else, because you can't. These guys on these race teams work. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable the hours they work, and you can't be a part-time and them being full-time. That's not acceptable to them. That's not acceptable to our sponsors. That's not acceptable to the car owners. That's not acceptable to anybody. So if you're not willing to be full-time and be fully committed, then you got no business being here.